call the meeting to order. Roll call, Goss. Yes. Weiss. Yes. Hillman. Yes. Nelson.
Yes.
Moore. Yes. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Conflict of interest. Not as for the agenda.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Consent agenda.
Before we approve the consent agenda, I just want to call everyone's attention to the minutes from 6/4/2024. Under the public comment, it says that the Lions Park would be closed, the council agrees that the park should be closed from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., but it should stay open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
So with that correction, then I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
There also needs to be a correction, to state, which one are coaches and which ones are the assistants. Coaches get paid $15 an hour, and baseball and softball assistants get paid $10 an hour.
So with those corrections, I make the motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Any other discussion? Goss. Yes. Weiss. Hillman. Yes. Nelson.
Yes.
Moore. PSAP marijuana ordinance.
Hi, I'm Jamie Sogoric, and we're gonna address some things about the marijuana ordinance. One of the main points of it was to keep it away from places where the youth would gather, such as schools, playgrounds, churches, other places to gather in town. And we want it somewhere where, like, there is a smoke shop or building. We think as a group it would be better for it to be somewhere outside, because there is a bunch of kids that go walking in the streets with their friends to, like, walk up to Casey's or something. And with it being out in the open, lots of younger kids they question it and they wonder what it's about. And normally they have flashing lights and colors, which makes it more appealing to kids. And by having it out, like, outside of town a little bit, not even that far, it makes it so they can't access it very easily. Because a lot of kids don't have licenses and that stuff until they're at least 14, some 15, 16. But then it makes it so it's out of the way, and it's really mostly for adults and not children. So if adults can go access it and the children stay away from it.
My name is Julie Larson. I'm a nurse practitioner at the Britt Medical Clinic. And I also am a member of the Alliance for Substance Abuse Prevention Senior Group. My part in talking to you today is about how marijuana affects the teenage brain. So we all know that brains don't fully develop until we're about 25. Use of a substance at a young age predisposes teens to some problems. So I actually have access to a really nice device. It's called Up to Date, and it takes the latest research. So this is research up to June of 2024. Cannabis use in adolescents at a time of brain development is associated with reduced intelligence quotients synthetic cannabinoids also appear to be associated with mental health disorders, and adolescents and young children should be advised to avoid cannabis consumption. So just kind of reiterating what the girls have said, we already feel like this is normalized among society now. Trying to take and put this dispensary somewhere where it's not in plain view, and an attempt to denormalize this is what we're after.
I'm Emily Hollish, I'm prevention specialist with Britt. We also talked about accessibility. If the location is downtown, the likelihood that somebody needs to be from shop to shop, they would walk in a lot more likely. Also, kids just walking downtown. If it's located outside of town, seeing how far it would be from daycares, schools, things like that, where you are present. The girls kind of touched on it, but a person that's wanting to use something can go out and get it, whereas somebody that's not trying to use it wouldn't just walk into a shop and not know where they're going, trying something for the first time.
I'm Candace Gray, I'm a prevention specialist also with Prairie Ridge, and I'm just gonna talk about the potency of cannabis. Now, and how much has changed since 1978? We're not up here like arguing against anything about legalization or decriminalization. We're just strictly talking about the zoning of it and where it should go, right? Like the other thing's a whole different conversation. But when we're looking at the potency levels, and cannabis use disorder is on the rise, especially amongst youth. At Prairie Ridge, we are seeing a lot of youngsters starting to come in with cannabis use disorders. And in 1978, the average THC level, which is the active property in cannabis, was only 1.37%. So we think about like the impact that it had on society at that point, at a mere 1.37%. Then in 1995, it jumped to only 4%. In the mid-90s, there was a big uptick in people using cannabis, and it was still only at 4%. 2014, it jumped to 12%. And now, in today's street marijuana, I'm not even looking at dispensaries there, which can have drastic differences and get even higher. Most street marijuana is 20 to 40%. But then when we are looking at the different options available at the dispensaries, like the hash, the concentrates, and the edibles, those can go up to 99%. So back in 1978, it really would have been very difficult to develop a cannabis use disorder just based on the little amount of THC that was in there. Even in 1995, at 4%, that would have been pretty difficult. But now we're looking at 20, 30, 40, 50%, almost 100% THC. And I've had plenty of students and adolescents that I have spoken with that talk about they are using cannabis to get incredibly high, like blacked out from it. They use different slang for it. And by making that accessible, by having it right downtown, it absolutely will normalize that for them. And just the further that we don't put it away from students getting to that is going to help us protect them in the long run there.
Hi, I'm Marlene Worthy from the Garner Council, and in 2019, our council passed an ordinance that puts some restrictions on the sale for marijuana and cannabis. And I can be happy to give you a copy of this, but for example, marijuana growth and their sales is prohibited within 1,000 feet of the right-of highway for Highway 18. And then we talked about daycares, 1,000 feet from daycares, 1,000 feet from any playgrounds, public parks, bike paths, trails, waterways, boat launches, and we did put the ordinance in place in 2019. We were trying to be very proactive on marijuana sales. And I will be happy to share a copy of this with anyone who wants to have it. Thank you.
Marlene, that was a 2-page ordinance?
Yes. Right.
What we were presented.
It was two. It was the same ordinance. We got the ordinance.
Oh, you have it, okay.
Yeah, we have it.
Any comments, questions?
The only issue I see with this ordinance, the way it's written, is in 3-9-3, it says any person or business growing and or selling marijuana or marijuana products in the city shall only do that from a permanent building in an L1 industrial district. That means if it's legalized, someone can't grow it in their own house. It may be a matter of semantics, but that's what it says.
Go ahead.
That's the only thing that I have. I don't
Yeah,
have
that's
a problem with any of the rest of this ordinance, except that piece.
Yeah, and we read through the ordinance out loud as a group, and, that's what it's like for Garner. So we can change that, because that's not how it would be written for Britt anyway. For that one part, we would change that to where that's going to be, but if you want to okay it being in somebody's home, obviously they're not gonna be able to be selling out of their home, because they would still have like the original taxes and that kind of
But if
stuff,
they do
growing
it
it.
for personal use,
Yeah.
it's saying that you can't do that.
Right, so we can take out that part or
If
put
it just,
an
if it
amendment.
just said, any person who wishes to have a business that sells marijuana, I would be fine with that. But the way it's written right here says that you're trying to tell people what they can and can't do for personal use in their own home, according to this ordinance, the way it's written.
Sure.
You guys didn't necessarily write it, but that's what was presented to us.
Right, based off of another cities and what they had decided on, so this
Right.
was just like, our general starting point for it, and we would be happy to sit and talk about how to make that work better for Britt, if we could move forward with it and make changes to that.
I'm only one of 5. Maybe the 4 other people will vote for it the way it is, but I won't vote for this the way it's written.
So our city attorney is changing that, the wording on that to
Okay.
just business,
Okay.
So he does have that, we just haven't gotten it back for him, a final draft. So that it can be presented to them, have a public hearing on it and everything. Awesome. So,
I'm fairly certain you're all here to talk to me, but I'm okay with this, as long as they change that.
But at the last meeting, you guys said that you thought it should be uptown.
I don't care if it's uptown or not, it matters to me. But you put it far out in the edges of town, who's gonna patrol that? I think last meeting that we discussed this, we talked about why wouldn't you want it on Main Street where everybody can see what goes on?
The only thing we have if it's on Main Street is for the kids, kids are just walking on Main Street, they're gonna go and see it. And if for kids, they don't know, I mean, they do know what it is, but they don't know like what's inside, they're gonna be curious and they're gonna look. So we're wanting something outside, like of town, so it's out of sight, out of mind. They want to be.
I get the reasoning behind that, yeah.
I think in this day and age, too, you have cameras on something like that, you have it well lit, things that are going to deter people from maybe vandalizing or breaking in or that type of thing.
But I do understand Kurt's point, in small towns, people talk, and everyone, people drive on Main Street all the time, so you're not gonna see a kid going into the store, because if they can't use it, there's gonna be laws in place so that they can't use it. So it'd be just like if they were trying to buy at a grocery store, or buy alcohol at a grocery store, there'd be processes in place to prevent them from actually purchasing. I understand the visibility aspect, but visibility can also help too, in the respect that there's not just the police officers that are patrolling that area, it's the whole city of Britt, and everyone driving.
But they'll have an armed guard. When they have dispensaries, they have an armed guard, and he has a gun right there at the door, he does not let anybody in, you have to have an ID, and, I mean, there's no way a younger.
Our thing is we're seeing stuff all the way back to 4th grade, like in the schools, like it's bad, and we put it out in the open, it could get worse. We're trying to, like, out of sight, more kids aren't gonna be curious about it and try it out. Because if they see it, they're gonna be like, oh, I wanna try that. Grown-ups are trying it, I wanna try that. It's how kids' minds work.
Yeah, if it's just sitting there, because once it becomes legalized, the stigma of it goes away, right? So by putting it on there and kind of chastising people for going in and using it, I see the point there, but we also have people walking into grocery stores and liquor stores and everywhere else that are underage and they're having no problem getting alcohol, so I don't see that. Hopefully, whatever dispensary, if we get to that point that we move into Britt, is doing its very best to protect the community as a whole, and they have the best interest of everyone. That's what we all hope and pray for, but that's not always the case with everything. And so by having it right downtown, where people are gonna be walking by, they'd be like, oh, what's the big deal? It's right downtown next to, honestly, I don't know the other businesses that are downtown, but it's right down next to Ben Franklin, and we could just go in there because what's the big deal about it? It's right downtown.
So what
It's
about,
hard to see.
you're all on marijuana, why not alcohol too? When every kid goes to the grocery store, can buy a candy bar, and here's all these huge liquor displays and everything else. Why don't we incorporate that with it? That's just as bad, isn't it?
I mean, absolutely.
But we're focused on one item and seclude that off somewhere out of town, thinking, well, the kids aren't gonna go there. I'm sorry, that's exactly where they're gonna go, because it's on the edge of town and nobody's gonna see me. They're gonna go right out there. I was a young kid, a teenager. Back then, we had just a state-run liquor store. Fines, everything else, but if you weren't old enough, you didn't go in there. You went to the grocery store and you bought alcohol. Because you knew at the state-run liquor store, your chances were a lot less. So let's get all the alcohol in the grocery store so the little kids can't see that either.
I mean, I'm all about jumping on with you to start fighting the state of Iowa about it. And I'm already working on it to work on licensing because the ID policy, man, if you want to team up with me and we can take it on, I will love you for that.
Actually, it takes me backwards because I think it's ridiculous to put it on the edge of town and get it out of sight, out of mind. Doesn't work. They're going to want it just as well. And I brought it up in several meetings. Kurt's brought it up. It's right on Main Street, everybody's gonna police it, because our chief of police even said, yeah, we probably aren't gonna patrol it, on the corner of town, we're gonna go buy it less to help patrol and keep kids from trying to get, a hold of it. I think it's all in the education and enforcing the law, not where it's at and where it's accessible. If it's in the middle of town, Britt's a very small town, 14, 15 blocks end to end. I'm sorry, the kids are gonna walk that far. They're gonna ride their bike, they're gonna do whatever. They're gonna be curious, well, why is it on the corner of town? Just as much, but either way.
And the education for it comes from,
Parents, school, state.
Sorry, are we gonna pay the school to do it though? Because it's kind of like us, our team, we do Ribbon Week and all this kind of stuff. We try to do it, but the kids aren't listening. Like trying to teach them doesn't work.
Or even like we try to do these things. We try to do them in high school, but our principal will not allow us to teach it. We're not allowed to put signs up about it. So we're not allowed to educate everybody else.
And that's not the other bring to the school board.
That's fair. I agree, but
Instead of.
you guys are.
In school, they're not teaching that stuff in school. Why not? The school board themselves? And bring that to their attention, say, hey, we would like this.
I do agree with what you're saying, but you're saying that we should put it on schools or parents. Parents do it themselves, and their parents aren't gonna tell their kids no because they see them do it. Our schools won't allow us to do it, so yeah, I agree, we should go to our school board about it, but we haven't had a chance to do that. But
It's also hard to tell the parents to teach them because a lot of the parents are giving it to them as well. So we can't just trust the parents to teach them that this is wrong when they're the ones giving it to their kids and letting their kids give it to other kids.
So you're you're bringing up all kinds of reasons why the kids are still gonna have access to it, so what difference does it make where the store is located?
Well, it's a step forward. We know this isn't gonna completely, like, stop the problem. We're just trying to make it less of a problem. We're trying to edge it to helping. Because it's gonna be hard, but we have to it's gonna be step by step. It's not gonna be, oh, it's gonna stop right away.
The location of the store, in my mind, will make no difference, because when I was a teenager, we found alcohol, if we had to go to Clear Lake. We still, if that's what we wanted, that's where we went. I can see by the look on a few people's faces, they did the exact same thing. The location of it will not make a difference.
So in Denver, where this is legal, only about 10% of the land area is eligible to open a dispensary after accounting for the limited zoning districts where a cannabis operation may be located and applicable buffering requirements. Once the correct zoning district is identified, buffering requirements further restrict the location. So even Denver, where it's legal, they have major restrictions. Why can't our wonderful community have major restrictions?
I'm not saying you can't, but I don't think it's gonna make any difference.
You have children coming to you saying, please help us. Please help us.
But the school won't even help.
Yeah. I'm just
Right.
voicing my
We
opinion on
can't
it.
speak for the school, we can speak for our town though, guys.
Can I butt in something here real quick? Number one, how many people in this room consume alcohol? And then, don't show your hands, please. And then how many of your kids consume alcohol? Second, and this is something I'm sure we all see when we drive through to Mason City to go get our stuff. Where's Pure Pleasure located?
Right off that way.
How many ownerships have they gone through? A lot. The reason for that purpose, the reason why Mason City asked for it to stay out of town, the reason why Clear Lake wanted it to stay out of town is because they didn't want a porn shop in their place. Why? Because their kids would get exposed to it. Garner is saying the same thing. Keep the dispensary out of town. If the police don't want to patrol it, well, Mr. Mayor, we have a problem. Do we not?
They never said they wouldn't patrol it, they just said that they wouldn't. There's not gonna be an officer there watching everything. We can't pay another full-time officer to.
We're not gonna babysit it, basically.
Okay, and then the other thing is, who's going to check IDs of these kids coming into the place?
They have their own security.
They have their own security. Can you verify that?
I'm just confused. Is this a moot point? Because if we put this in place and the state of Iowa legalizes it, it supersedes what we do? Or is it a moot point because dispensaries aren't even legal right now? So we are spending a lot of time talking about something that actually isn't legal right now.
No, while cannabis zoning laws are regulated at the state level, it's the local governments that ultimately determine where a cannabis business can operate. We can determine where it can go.
We did the same thing with low-speed vehicles, and as soon as the state said that you could drive them wherever you wanted to, our ordinances weren't any good. Yeah. Three-wheelers, four-wheelers, UTVs, you can drive them wherever you want, no matter what our ordinance said. Because the state said so. We can't even collect a permit for them anymore.
I'll get you here in just a second. To me, I'm 100% for this. It's just, the old saying that helps one person, it's worth it, right? But the big thing is that everybody here needs to think about, when you girls get a little bit older, you're going to think about that, who you're voting for. So far, who's in charge at the Iowa legislation, the Iowa Senate, the Iowa House, and the governor's office are that said against ever allowing it to be legal. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way, as long as possible. Hopefully I'm dead before it ever becomes legal. And I'm gonna live to be about 95 or 100, so. But we want to, that's so important. You know, this is good stuff, but the big thing is we got to keep pressure on you.
We just need to be proactive for the safety of our community and the safety of our kids, that have come forward to say, we need this. I've been on this committee 10 years, and we've been a part of working, getting the alcohol out of the hands of the kids and getting Dropbox for medication so they're not getting they're not getting out there. And this is just another thing that we need to be proactive about for the safety of our community and our kids.
I'm sorry, I just have one more thing, I promise, this last one. We look at a lot of different reports about how our different counties are doing from a Prairie Ridge standpoint and seeing the youth rise and the adult rise in binge drinking or cannabis or opioids. And when we look at it, two of our counties that we have are Mitchell and Hancock, and they are very low compared to most of the other counties. And we do attribute that to the fact that we have been able to continuously do education in the schools compared to Franklin County or Winnebago County that have much higher rates of usage. And so we are still on board. I have a new program that I'll be bringing into the schools this year to start with younger kids at 4th and 6th grade to talk about drugs and substance use as a whole. Once I get all the funding in place to buy the books for all of the students, we will be a go for that. So I'm doing everything that I can from an education standpoint. Kelly goes and does stuff in all of the schools. We have met some resistance in the schools in the last few years. And if we would have your guys' support there to talk to the school board about the importance of the education, that would be amazing. And I know that that wasn't like what we were specifically talking here, but it just made me think of, having the city council's backing for how important education is, and maybe being able to do some like public forum or public education things for parents would be something that could be promoted throughout the county as well. Because I do see Hancock County as one of our stronger communities that we work in, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. Our team switches up often, and I have refused to let go of Hancock because of how much I love Garner and Britt and Kanawha, and we're just really trying to work hard to make it as safe as we can. These girls are amazing and are busting their butts all the time to get out and create a safer environment for their peers. So if they're asking for help, let's do what we can to help them. There are boots on the ground here.
So the next ordinance, or the next month, we should have the ordinance get to the council. And then they'll decide if they want to put it up or set a public hearing for that. So that's where we're at with that.
Thank you.
Don't go working on your school. Anybody else? Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, department heads, library report.
I should have my report, but for the summer reading program began the last week in June. Tuesday was water games. Wednesday they worked on in large groups with a recycled art project using plastic bottle tops making a mosaic. Thursday they began another large group art project using water bottles. Friday we offered a movie matinee, and attendance has been between 20 to 30 per event. Our meeting room is getting used daily, sometimes multiple times a day. Tutoring, online classes, testing, social services, individual and group meetings, and local organizations. The library now offers make your own lunch on Tuesdays and Thursdays for those children who need it.
The Friends of the Britt Library have provided bread, cheese, peanut butter, and jelly. The summer meals served at the nursery annex for kids is now reaching 30 to 35 kids a day, and that is on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So normally I have between 4 to 6 or 7 kids on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And they know how to make their own sandwich, they know where the things are, they can take care of it and clean up. So we're happy to offer that as well. Last Thursday, the library hosted a town meeting for U.S. Senator Johnny Ernst, which was very well attended. Local youth did not stop with kids in the children's room on computers and people in the reading area. While she was speaking to constituents, 3 kids were having a battle on Roblox on the computers. So all the space was used at the same time. And I thought it was a good thing, so she could see how our library functions on a regular day. There were 3 to 5 library events planned weekly through July. Tonight is actually a family nerd night in the library. They're having battles with their friends. Musicians like Sean Gaskell will be performing in 2 weeks, which is the same night as the car show. So we're trying to work with the car show to get a little promotion of that. And just as a little later thing, I had a young man that is always there at 10 o'clock every morning, waiting for his computer time. It's an hour. He came back in at 5:30 today, and I was still working in there, still standing at the counter, and he said, "Oh my gosh, have you been working all day standing up?" I said, "Well, a lot of it, but I sure hope those people are paying you a fair wage."
Thank you, Linda.
I've got a question for you. Yeah. On the make your own lunch program.
Yeah.
Advertise that one. What?
We've had it on our Facebook page, and we have a sign on the library for the.
Yeah. I'm not telling you to advertise. I just want you to advertise it now. I mean, how do people get at it again? You said Facebook and so forth. And some people that don't look at that or whatever that might be listening now. Or whatever, yeah, what do we need to do? How does it work? Who's eligible?
Anyone that, anybody that needs a lunch. If we have, I mean, we always have snacks out, but they know on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they can come in and make either a cheese, peanut butter, and jelly. One young man likes to make all 3 in a sandwich.
I can definitely share it on our Facebook page.
Sure.
So, I can do that.
And the kids tell each other, so
Yeah.
they figure it out. It's pretty smart.
Yeah, right. Public Works fast.
We had municipal pipe here. They cleaned and televised our sewage system program for this year. And these probably seen our experts has been here. The main avenue curbs and gutters got replaced. Got the compost ground, had to deliver a couple loads of that. Got the lines painted on Main Street and around town. Our sewer plant generator. Need to replace the control board and PNP electric tank. Took that to the city with me. Worked at the pool. We had to buy a new boiler for the sewer plant. The new water plant is up and running. For 8 days, 10 days now. Not completely, we do have the new pump in for the RO, so we're getting there. Last Monday, we had Jordan, an operator with Goldman Bank, coming, kind of help work out some bugs with Justin and I at the water plant. John has notified me that the fire department roof is leaking when it rains heavy. We've explored a couple different contractors in the last few years, and it still leaks. Everybody does a good job over here, it just, we're missing something, I don't know where. We checked the branches at the park, met with a couple vendors. That's on my next list. That's all I got for that.
I have 2 things. One, the curb and gutters on making it look good, full time. And the second second one is the boiler for the sewer plant. What is the life expectancy for that piece of equipment?
It depends on how much money we're gonna spend.
Well, based on what we're already.
We've got this, the boiler's been, we're on our second one since '95.
Okay.
So the first one I don't think lasted very long, and the second one lasted, I think, I talked to Kurt Smith. He thought that one had been in there for almost 15 years. And I know we're trying to do a new sewer plant, and I try to have this repair, but it's not repair.
So then, if we were to get a new sewer plant, we likely not need the boiler.
Yes, yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work. I tried to look into the future with the engineers, and it's hard.
But we do have to have it.
We gotta have it.
Yeah, I was just,
Yeah, it's part of the process, that we have to have it.
I just was asking because if it could be reused, but
It depends on the process that the engineers decide that we did best for us in the future. So I looked up some signs. Kurt asked me to look up some stop signs. You guys have all that information for the lighted signs on the highway.
So what do we do, both the east and westbound signs, all work, you would need to double this for that.
The one from General Traffic Control,
Yeah.
that is the same company that has the Ventura Lab. Down there, four-way stop. I called over there, or emailed over there, and this company's right out of Spencer. And they do have the 36 and the 48. So there is a 36-inch stop sign and 48-inch stop sign on the east and westbound lanes. This would be an edge lighted sign with a solar panel battery.
So it takes four signs total, right?
Yes, this would be double that.
Right, that's what I was asking.
Yes. We got a quote from Capco, but they don't have the 48-inch signs. We got a quote from Iowa Prison Industries. But it's a kit and you have to buy more of it, and it doesn't never, we've asked them specifically to look at a 48-inch. We don't have an answer. So you're kind of stuck to that. If you want to stay with the 36 and the 48 that are out there with the general traffic.
Tyler, there was another accident last week, somebody ran their, going from the west to east, getting in their own high school.
Everyone was fine. I didn't have to call, or I didn't have to call the ambulance or anything like that, but, yeah, she was in the stop sign, said she didn't see the lights, the flashing light, called it too late. So.
We have money in the reduced tax budget.
Yes, we do. To buy this, yes.
Twice that one.
You're doubling that amount.
You gotta double that.
It just depends on what Vance wants to do with roads too. With relaying, are we doing it? Yeah, it all depends on what we're gonna do.
Got a spot right here.
I know. You know, yeah.
I personally think we should do this
I
before someone gets killed up there.
We
I'm
can,
not gonna be the one that says no.
we can afford to buy two sets, but yeah.
The only other thing that I think we could ever do would be the rumble strips, and if you did that, everybody down here all night long.
and I think the city previously explored rumble strips and like a stop light with the DOT said that there wasn't enough. Yeah, I was gonna say, this has been a discussion for
They had a purpose to do this, but we have to pay for it.
something. So we have the money to do it.
Yes. So double this then?
I'll make a motion that we order the signs from general traffic controls for the east and westbound lanes. At a total cost of $14,499.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
So the next thing on my agenda was, I got a call from Joe Ferrier with Concrete Politics out of Iowa City. And he lifts concrete. There's a mud jacking process, and these guys use a, for lack of a better term, like the window foam. Like spray on windows and whatnot. Obviously, more durable. This puts us back into, he said 15 minutes and you can drive on it. So those three spots, one is on 3rd Street Southwest at 407. If you've seen that spot, the gutter line, it just holds water all the time, it just drains and great route, it's ugly. Then the other one is right here on Main. Just south here of the City Hall. And it's just always been sunk, and I've been like that since before I started. These are just some different options that those are the three worst spots. The other one was right between Swenson's and Gibson Street. That concrete is there, that would cost the money that they got, the 5,100, and then I'd have to hire another saw guy to come in and get a full depth saw. Be the same guy that did this curb together on Main Street here. That was kind of a rough number from him, but I think we have less footage than what I quoted. Something I'd like to try to see if we can get those spots and maybe use them in the future for other things. He's talked about soil stabilization around that storm sewer pipe on 2nd Avenue. It's been so hard for us to get a concrete contractor to come to town. Doing these panels by lift them up and put them back where they are, I think. It'd be worth a try to see how they do.
Because the long-term goal would be to along the length of the road.
Correct.
So that prevents it from being or cracking or.
Correct.
Plus, water, built up.
Every time there's a big lift like that, too, it's very hard on us. Hard on equipment.
And probably vice versa, in terms of with the snowplow, saying that.
Correct.
Just to recap a little bit on that, we have $45,000 in capital equipment for road use. I know that you want to use that kind of like as a savings for a future work truck that we're going to need I think next fiscal year. We do have $180,000 in street maintenance. It just depends on what we want to.
Yeah, I know it's not really a budget. It wasn't really budgeted for, but it's, the guy reached out to me and I've called for mud jackers or something like this around the area before, and it doesn't seem like anybody's within 50 miles of us. He was in Alabama getting close to the school over there. That's why he came up here from Iowa City.
Have we seen anywhere where they have done the work?
I have
A year or two ago, just to see how well.
what's online. I think there might be some pictures online, but I've seen mud jacking in some driveways around town, and it seems to hold it. They use a grout where you have to let it set and cure like concrete before you can drive on it. Where this is almost immediate turnover. Yeah, so it just be coordinated, saw guy. Once he's got to relieve all the stress on the slab around the slab itself. They'll come in and drill holes, and then just monitor it, and unless they lift it.
They've been doing that to sidewalks and driveways for years.
Yeah. That's just kind of a different material.
Yes, I know, Fred, because two of those spots that we put my property.
I mean, I think advanced things to be here. I can't tell you. Yeah. That's a road person, so.
Any other
there's probably three right on Main Street. Third Street, Fourth Street, going southwest, possibly Second Street. You know, where that storm sewer is down, I would utilize him in another spot too, on First Avenue and Seventh Street southwest, just going to my house, that intersection is really bad. But he suggested that we tear that all out and use its soil stabilization and go down to the pipe and then backfill on every street, Fourth Street.
Go to the far south of that corner.
And this is the three biggest ones that we got. See how these go, and it works good, then you can always plan back for others. Otherwise, if it's smaller, then we can try to do like we've done lately, and get so much concrete tore out, just hire a contractor to come in and build it again.
Probably say that much. And
One, a new road costs way more than that, and a new piece of equipment costs more than that, so it might be worth a shot.
Well, we had to just repair the old way, one of those spots, is gonna cost us that much.
It'd be pretty close. Contractors are charging us like $7, $8, $9 a square foot. Tear out, remove, replace. That one in front of here, on May Avenue here, I think it's 240 square feet.
I think it's worth a shot.
Plus the removal of concrete, you got to get rid of that.
Yeah, plus the 1,000, it's on there. Plus the 1,000 to remove the concrete, it's kind of written in there on the quote guide.
Is that an option yet?
Yeah, so I make a motion to repair those three items with concrete poly fix, to see how well that works, and hopefully save our town money in the long run.
any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Carried. Thank you. Please report, Tyler.
Should have my report, public service, including numbers, which are departments. We had a total of 90 calls between June 4th and July 1st. I got Jordan and Izzy recertified on their firearms for the year. We ordered uniforms and an outer carrier for Izzy, still waiting on those to come in yet. Jordan attended a canine training in Redwood on the 17th. PD served lunch to the kids at that school lunch program at the Nazarene Church on the 19th. We served about 30 kids that day. All three of us attended a legal update and trauma and law enforcement training in Forest City on the 26th. We got Izzy started on the schedule now. She's on her own. She's doing really well so far. So glad to have her. And then on the 13th, we held interviews, 3 more candidates. All of them were non-certified. All 3 were very, very good candidates. Pretty tough decision between the 2 of them. We ended up offering a conditional offer to Anthony Foster, who's out of Forest City. He's a 31-year-old male, and he seems like a really good guy. He did accept the conditional offer. He's taken his MFPI and got his fingerprints done for his background. I'm just waiting on those to come back. Once we get that, or everything's good, which I don't see any issues coming out of that, I will make the official job offer to him. And he'll most likely be getting started with us at the end of the month. And then he should be getting started in the academy in late August.
Question? working on that? You said you wanted to get the current 30-day notice, did you already do that?
Yes, yep. But I told him he could probably go ahead with that. And by the time I think when I did Izzy's background check with her fingerprints, those results came back in like 2 weeks. So I figured by the time those come back, it'll be around that 2-week time frame. And it's like, how can it be official, and then by the end of the month, get it started.
Good.
Just the time for what it is.
So I have this under the wrong person, but under Tyler, it's supposed to be police computers. You want to discuss it? So Tyler and I reached out to a couple companies, Caltech, which for their leasing company is called Huntington. It would be they could do a 3-year term or a 5-year term. 3 years, $10,711.13 per year, or a 5-year term is $7,092.05. We could also purchase it outright for $30,144.15. We did not budget for this. Their computers are from 2018. Government leasing company is a 5-year term, and it's $7,883.77 a year. It's a little more expensive. So
These computers, ones we have now, we've been having some issues with them. I know there's other departments that have the same ones, and they have the same issues. Right now, we're the only department in the county that doesn't have the ones that I'm wanting to get. So now I have the new ones, county has the new ones, and Gardner, we don't have these ones that we're looking at.
So I guess I think it's really a matter of if we want to spend $30,000 outright. It's not this year, maybe next year, or starting that lease. And I think the 5-year term sounds great. That's what they said, that the life of these are usually 5 years. You guys have this little.
I think the 5 years is definitely to me, the better way to go. Definitely don't want to buy them outright.
And then at the end of the contract, let's say they want to keep it for 1 more year, we pay $1 for them, because they said it's no use to them. So it's,
I'll make a motion that we lease computers on a 5-year term.
from Caltech?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second it. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
And the next one, we're removing the equipment. I got the quote from Justin Builders over at Main Street Specialties in Algona. We got like 1,200.
Yeah, I did. They just sent it to us today.
That was just basically to strip all the equipment out of it, the details taken off of it. And in hopes of getting ready to possibly put it up for bid.
So it's 1216 to remove all the police equipment out of that vehicle. And we did budget for a new police vehicle this year, so.
And put it in the new vehicle.
Yeah, yep, and put it in, well, no, so far it's just removing it, not to reinstall everything.
And there's probably some things we could keep out of that one and put into a new one. Probably not all, but there's definitely some things that we can keep out of it.
We budgeted $70,000 for a new police vehicle. I think the one that's on the agenda tonight is $48,830. So that gives us $22,000 to work with for the installation.
Equipment.
Yeah, for purchase of equipment and installation. I think Jordan's was really expensive, so you really can't compare it to that, because that was a K9 unit.
Canine units are, the canine vehicles are some of the most expensive ones to put in
Yeah.
there,
So but Jordan's was like $22,000 to install. I think it's half that price to install, so you're looking at $12,000. So
You can save on equipment that we keep.
yeah,
We'll save some money.
Roughly 60,000 maybe.
yeah.
So Elizabeth, we need a motion to approve the quote for the removal of the equipment from the 2014 vehicle.
And yeah, and posting that 2014 up for bid.
I'll make that motion.
Can we put a date on that posting? I guess we'll.
When would they be able to remove the equipment?
I believe he's, I told him I would get it, I'd get back to him right away and try to get it done. as soon as he does, so.
Do we need pictures of it, I guess? Equipment removed, probably. Okay, so, yeah, I guess just removal of the equipment.
Or he's not being used at all.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Next is ordering a new police vehicle. We just kind of went over that. You guys have that packet or that information in front of you.
So I make the motion that we order the new police vehicle for $48,830.
This is purchase.
Yes.
I'll second that. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? Carried.
have a question. I'm Diane Alexander, and I was wondering what you found out about the hot dog vendor parking in the handicap parking space in front of the old bank. I waited 40 minutes today and nobody showed up.
I wasn't working.
That was Jordan Williams, and we can discuss that during public comment. But Jordan Williams was the responding officer. The responding officer was Jordan Williams, so he does not know about the situation right now, and we can discuss that during public comment.
Fire department, John.
You should have my report. We had 12 calls of service for the month, two standbys at the racetrack. Training for the month, we went over, we had a refresher on the skid unit for rescue sled that we use. We also used a Britt pack for, we have a down firefighter in a fire that's using an air pack. We have to go rescue them or any other firefighter from neighboring town. Then another night we had a confined space training at the fire station with Michael Foods. We worked with them quite a bit for first response, other big silos that they have for confined spaces, and a few other spaces they have out there beside the silos. We toured the hospital the other night, checked out Knox box that they have, and the keys that are in there work. So that was great. Found all the sprinkler hookups we need and the alarms, so thank you, Kurt. Went to a Summit Carbon Pipeline meeting at the sheriff's office. Sat next to Jim, and I had 2 other firefighters there so we could find out what's gonna happen next after the IUD approved gave some more approval for them. Now Advanced had noticed, and I've let him know we do have a leak again at the fire station. Needless to say, it's in the same areas that it's been forever. So. Anything else? Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Mike is not here, so you guys have his report. If you have any questions, let me know, and I can send them off to Mike. Otherwise, we have the lease agreement. Okay, he's not here. Oh. But I did send this off to her, and she did look at it. She didn't have any comments other than Ryan's name is under the mayor, so we need to change that. Ryan is a signer on here, and it's supposed to be Mayor Nelson, so. I can get a motion to approve that lease agreement. It's the changes that Earl made that we discussed with Angie.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carried.
So I did get some quotes I got a quote from Brian. Thank you, Brian. For the water heater, sorry, I'm just trying to get to where I'm supposed to be. So it was a $1,000 quote or estimate for moving that water heater that's not supposed to be near that electrical. I just feel like that's something we need to get done, because it's not the code. So there's that one, and then Angie Hinton gave us a quote for $5,300 for Matt to basically install the doors that they had, that of course purchased through donations last year. There's also another quote from Paul Francis for those doors. But it's not really a set number.
That $1,000, is that a new water heater?
No, it's a fairly new one now, I think they were the last 5 years, and it's right in front of the electrical panel.
Yep.
Previous board installed it, I believe. And, I believe we're just gonna move it to the north, about 6 feet. Locate it right there. Okay. And we want to have she's thinking about moving some different things and cooler there, I think. Some cleaning supplies. She's trying to find a location for that.
So we do have around $5,000 in the golf course budget for expenses that come up. Obviously the doors basically takes up all that. But I know we all discussed that we know we need to put money into the golf course. So yes, I'm looking for a motion to approve the $1,000 from Brian Reekins to do to move that water heater and Matt Baskey's quote for $5,300 to build paint and install those garage doors, overhead doors. Golf course.
we assume that the Francis quote would be more expensive or just not as timely? Is that the?
Said it could take 2 to 4 days. We're assuming 8-hour days and 6 workers.
How did we get the quotes? Did we actually put it out there for everybody? Because we just have two local bids on it.
We reached out to a couple people and, Paul Francis was the only one to get back to us, and, Angie was here at that meeting, and she's the one that offered up the second quote. So, we don't post for little quotes like that. We reach out to people if it's something major. Is when engineers are involved, is when we post it on Iowa Leagues and Iowa League of Cities, and I guess wherever we have to post legally for that.
So my question is, if, Matt Bansky's rate is $40, how does he know it's gonna take him 38 hours to remove 20 doors and that type of thing?
Well, they've done a couple doors themselves, and this is their quote, so they can't go over that unless they talk to me, and then council will have to approve anything over that.
It seems like an awful lot of hours. This is gonna take 22 hours to build 11 doors. And it's gonna take 22 hours to paint 11 doors. That's a lot of time to paint doors.
Would you guys like me to continue to look for other quotes on that?
He is one person. So it probably would take him a lot longer than 6 to 8 person team that Francis is proposing. But then again, who's to say that Angie and Matt would have the voice helping?
John, do you know if they're putting on primer and coat paint?
They did on some of the first ones they did, yes. That I know they bought primer and exterior house paint.
I was gonna say,
Knowing Angie, she'll probably do.
I'm pretty sure it is the primer and that.
But I know the first ones they did, they had a bunch of volunteers who went out and did. Whatever after coats. Yeah, but he did go, I don't know how many doors.
11, I think 11 are already done.
There's 8, according to this, there's 8 built and they're gonna build 11 more.
That's because 3 are put on already.
It just seems odd to me that it takes 2 hours per door to build and 2 hours per door to paint. To me, it'd take a whole lot more to build them than paint them, but just a comment.
Or is that accounting for more than one person? Is that 22 hours across?
Either way, it's 22 hours, whether it's one person or 11 people.
These are the numbers. The only thing that can change is her incidentals, such as replacing rotten wood, under trim, or having to get wider trim boards will be extra. So this is their quote, and it's not an estimate, it's an actual quote. This is the real number, where Francis is a little more broad.
Could we get an actual quote from Francis?
That's a real number?
I mean, I can talk then.
I agree with her that it just seems like that's an awful lot of hours for the doors, and hopefully Paul can get us a better estimate, and maybe we can find a third, hopefully.
Okay, I can definitely reach out to more people. Can we approve the water heater one?
I'll make the motion to approve the water, the relocation of the water meter to Rankin for $1,000.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Next is you, Mrs. Grella.
Just going to give a little pool update. We have a lot of training going on. The next, like, we had one in the next couple of weekends. We're going to do a lot of training. I've noticed we've kind of been lacking with just some of the rescue skills, backboarding, emergency personnel. So Sunday, the ambulance boss is actually going to come, and we're going to go full on disaster drill. So if you see sirens and ambulances and like things going around in the pool, don't panic. It's just us and the kids getting used to the crew coming in and how do you transfer the person on the backboard to the stretcher and like how's that all coordinated, so the kids kind of have an idea of how that works. He said they might stop by if they're around. Kevin's also going to do some fire extinguisher training for the kids and talk about the chemical room and take fires and just run away from that one because there's things in there that could explode if they don't know. So I just want to make sure the kids are very informed of what else at the pool, how to handle the emergencies. I think we'll have fun putting the little fires out with the fire extinguisher. So we've got that on coming up. We've had a free swim day that was for farmers already. First aid bank sponsoring one Sunday. The chamber's also giving us Sundays. They have Sundays on Sunday. So we have that at the pool as well. We've tried some new foods, some new things in that for the kids. I tried some watermelon and mac and cheese and different things, so it's not all like junk food for the kids. And then some of them are there, like that's when they hate it. And so I want them to have something for lunch that's not a lack tappy. So I want to make things like that with some of the chicken there. But I was wondering if the city would be willing to chip in for our end of the year staff party. I'm working on some game gifts right now for like the kids that have had to like clean up food or something, like little like emojis or I don't know, something, little game gifts like that. But I wanted to possibly give them right away through a $5 gift card for each of them. I have 17 guards, which is awesome. We've had that many for quite some time, but they've been doing amazing. I love them. I think I have like 5 or 6 that have been there for 4 years. So they have been amazing leaders. And I've got 6 freshmen new ones coming up. So I'm hoping to keep them there, and I'm excited and want to get the ball. So just anything I can do to make it more fun and have them stay with us there. So, and then we're going to do an end of the year pizza party with them. They always do that, usually that last weekend. And so if there's any way you can chip in for any of that, I'm not a $5,000 like street mix. I need about $150. So compared to all the other budget stuff, I'm small. But I do know the pool is a big like money sucker for the city. So whatever you do, like, who we have with. So
You guys should have my email correspondence with our auditors. So they did say as long as we state in the minutes that it's for employee morale, that they would not write me up for it. So.
Well, it probably is important to keep the lifeguards returning because we do have difficulty filling those positions. And the pool does cost that much in one motion?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had a list.
Go forward with providing a pool party for the lifeguards and the end of year gifts, the $5 gift card from.
I'm waiting for.
Is that way for law? Who does it?
Can I get a second?
So what's the total then?
It's around 200 is what I estimated. I added 2 more to that number, so
It says
my number,
95 plus pizza.
and so I'm just estimating at 200.
Second. There's a motion and a second, and I have some discussion on it. The only thing I thought about on it was, does it have to be a red, white, and blue? Can it be a Britt bus?
Oh, I guess it's favorite bucks, yeah. Because they can use that wherever they want.
You know, that way it's not specified one Britt business.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's a good idea. $5 in Britt books, then they can use that at the grocery store, Casey's, Dollar General.
Casey doesn't take Casey's, unfortunately. Okay, so we're changing that to the Britt bucks.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And I just want to say thank you to Mrs. Bartlett. It's been
Yes.
amazing. She's done, it's been like a weight lifted off, but compared to last year, so.
Going, yeah, like the kids every day and the snacks and everything,
Yeah.
you're doing a fantastic job.
Sometimes I feel like a hot mess.
Please stay forever.
You're really not.
So next we have my report. So first we have to approve pay application number 24 for $30,326.98. Katie did approve that. I can get a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion that we approve the application number 24 to Ankle Construction for $30,326.98.
I'll second it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, so next I just kind of want your guys' guidance on what you want from me over the Emerald Ash borer. You guys have my notes there. We know that this is something that we're gonna have to treat for the life of the tree, and we may be able to space out treatments up to 3-4 years here in like 4 more years. So we're gonna have to treat every other year. So I guess this year and then in 2 years we'll have to treat again, but I mean, I have an estimate from Grassmasters. An estimate from Grassmasters for $45,554. KC Tree Services estimating $40,000. They did treat our trees in 2022 for $37,102. We can also try that Dino Tefren. That's $25 to $45 a tree, and it has a 68 to 78% success rate. So, and we're gonna have to start, maybe it's a matter of choosing one person to do it and then having them decide if we need to cut some trees and making $42,000 work for whatever we decide for treating and removal of trees. I just don't know where to go from here, what more information I can get for you guys. And maybe it's, do I have one of these gentlemen come and speak to us over the situation?
I think we need more information. What's the success rate on what they're treating it with now?
He said it's 99% as long as the tree is not too far gone.
Who said that?
Grassmasters, and Casey Tree Service had said that to me the first time, it's a 99% rate as long as the tree's, in a healthy it's healthy before treatment. So, but that DNR guy said that it's a matter of treating a certain amount and tearing down and replanting every year, because again, we're gonna be treating these forever. So.
How many of the 171 trees that we treated in 22 do we still have?
There's a few that have cut out. I don't know if they didn't get treated properly or they were too far gone before they got treated, but there has been actions on the list. It's probably less than 10 out of the 171 is an estimate.
So now we have 160, let's just say.
Do we want to stick with KC Tree Service and have him come speak with you guys and talk to Vance and I and see what we can come up with? Yeah.
I think we need more options, because if you're saying we can also do, so that would be on the, I don't know, Pepper and whatever, and pronounce it, that would be on top of what they're currently doing, or instead of?
Instead of, but it's a 68 to 78% success rate according to that, the guy from Grassmasters.
And if it is, say, all for $45, that's only $7,200, with the somewhere between 70 and 80% success rate. That's a big difference in dollars between the two chemicals that they're using.
And I need to look into that. I mean, I haven't checked with the Iowa DNR to see what their thoughts are on that. So that's something I would like to speak with them about, but I just kind of wanted some guidance from you guys. So do you guys want me to bring somebody in to discuss this with you guys?
Does the Iowa State Extension Service still do anything
Yeah.
in that respect? I know we talked to them before.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were still active in that or not.
They are. Yeah, they are, because I talked to somebody from NIA who had given me, and there was somebody on that board that deals with this stuff. So, I mean, maybe it's a matter of hiring, or not hiring, but asking somebody from the DNR or that Iowa State Extension.
Yeah. They
For more
need to come
information,
and talk.
because it's kind of hard for me to ask one,
Well, they have a vest. They're telling us whether they think the tree is gone, but then they also get the money to treat it. So it's like,
yeah.
The quotes that you have, Elizabeth, do they say how many trees they're actually going to treat, or are they still looking at 171, not knowing how many there are for sure?
So the Grassmasters, yeah, they're both, it's 171, because that's what Kelly emailed me saying that's what he thinks it'll be, because the trees have grown probably another inch since they were last treated. And then I gave the Grassmasters guy the list of trees that we treated, so that he could use that as guidance for his quote. Because we have all the trees that we treated on a list and how many inches they were. So.
can you survey when you're doing your data collection, or can you survey the other city administrators and clerks to see what other cities in our area are doing?
Yeah, I could definitely ask.
Whether they're leaving them as is, if they're, I mean, tens of thousands of dollars each year to continue, or if they're just chopping them down, just to see as comparison.
Okay, so I will survey them or get surveys out to other cities to see what they're doing, and then I can see if I can try to find from the Iowa State Extension Office or from the DNR to come out and speak to us. So I'll have that hopefully ready for the next meeting.
See if we can get more information on that other chemical, because the difference between, 7,000 and 45,000, we can replace a whole lot of trees and cut down a few trees for that big difference in money. It'd only be, 10, 15% less effective.
Yeah.
And if we've lost 10, give or take, since the last time we treated them, it's not gonna take long at that type rate to not have very many of them left. But not knowing what shape those trees were in or anything else. Just making some assumptions based on the numbers in front of us.
Okay, I will have more info on that for the next meeting.
Well, the last line there says both of these contractors would inspect the trees and decide if some are too far gone for treatment. It'd be nice to know how many are too far gone.
I can see if both of them want to come separate times and look at our trees to give us an actual goal.
It's been a little while.
I'll reach out to both too and see if they're willing to do that, come out and look at all the trees.
That's a good chunk of money. What you take.
I know Kelly he knows what the trees look like, so he wasn't, I mean, he's the one that did them the last time, so.
Okay.
He would, but he knows the trees, so.
Yeah.
But I can definitely ask him to come out and look, give us a quick look around for what we have left. Okay. So next we have the Monday Sunday event, by the Britt Chamber. So they're looking for a street closure. So this is where Vance and I discussed later on. We don't want them to, we want basically vehicles to be able to turn into the road and not have to back out. The street closure looks weird here. But basically, it close off First Street, Second Street, First Ave. And then on Main, that vehicles could turn into that street.
Keep the very good traffic right here. So we have Second Street, so we have First Street.
But I just need a motion for that street closure then.
I'll make a motion that we approve the street closure.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
So I talked with call center, Visual Edge and Access Systems over new phones. So call center gets $12.95 per month. John, you would have to get on that. So it would cost you $12.95 a month instead of your $5.95. But that's the option that we're leaning towards, because if for some reason it doesn't work out, we're just out the $12.95. We'll be able to keep the phones since they're interchangeable with Access System or Visual Edge. LIDNS would have to come in and install the phones, and they don't know how long it would take because they've never done this before. But they did say that they could start out with, Marcy's phone and see how that works, how she likes it. And if it's something that we want to continue to do, then we would go ahead and do the libraries, ours.
You don't need
You don't want a phone at all?
one.
Okay, so
We
then,
don't use it now.
okay, so then it'll just be the library and the city. But basically, we just want a new phone system because our phone calls get really muffled a lot of the times. And we never know who's calling us. They don't give us a callback number. We don't have a callback number. And we get a lot of those voicemails like that. There's never like a name to that. It just says usually it says US cellular caller or wireless caller. So, and it'll be nice because we can forward those phone calls those emergency phone calls to like, for cell phones, if something happens, we have something going on, we can see those calls on our cell phones, it'll be like an app. So if something is happening, somebody calls in a water main break, we'll be able to see something like that. Knock on wood. So I can't tell you how much money would be invested in this with LID nets, installing them, but it would be about $250 a phone for a wireless phone. It could be less too, which is kind of estimates that we got from call center.
City Hall would be 100% wireless.
Yeah, so we'd be internet based. So it would remove our COM1 bill for internet, for phones. We just have to maintain internet. And I would like to start with either Marcy or I's phone and see how we like it.
Anything?
These phones really are bad, okay? They're like really muffled.
I was gonna say, when I was on that speaker, when I phoned in the meeting, I could barely hear anything. It was tough, so I can't imagine anyone else doing
Yeah.
that.
It's really frustrating at times.
You just include a conference phone?
Yeah, so $250 for a conference phone in the meeting paper. So it'd be $250.
Yeah, so that's why, that's $7.
And then the fire department obviously doesn't need one, so we can cross them off. And then 2 phones for Linda. But we can start with Marcy's to see how we like it. Are you okay with that?
No, I think
Because
that's great.
we want to make sure that we don't invest all this money with LID nets and then we don't like it and we go with.
One of my phone lines is my fax line.
So, well, yeah, 'cause our new copier lease would remove fax, but we can't change that until December is when our lease is up. So we would have our fax bill removed off of ours, and we would do e-fax. But I don't know about you guys, because you guys
Yeah, I
have.
mean, we have a fax machine, not for the library's use, but for the public's use. And it does get the big use. So I mean, maybe I can just switch to the phone and, I mean, that doesn't
Yeah.
help my bill a lot, I'm still gonna have it come online. I hadn't thought of that.
As far as I know, fax lines still have to be, they can't be wireless over the internet.
That's not what Visual Edge, which we probably stay with them for our copier lease. We would go to e-fax, so it would just be like, we scan it in and maybe, I don't know if you guys use this before, but you can fax to any, whatever. Yeah, that'd be the only issue, I guess.
I can check, I might be able to do that with my other machine too.
Yeah, it might be.
Because we scan email and all that, so.
Can I at least get approval for one of the phone systems at City Hall? To get, put on IP, internet, internet-based phone service and so the purchase of $250 plus the charge to install and the $12.95 a month.
I'll make that motion.
Go call center.
Yes, call center.
Todd seconded.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Yeah, check into that. The appraisal?
Yeah.
Everybody look at the appraisal, golf course appraisal.
Didn't have much time, but got it.
We did get a golf, we did have a guy come in. I made him, out there actually, and he took it around. And, he and I were actually gonna golf around. So, it's too bad too, I golf practice 2 holes is the best golfing I've done in a long time. But anyway, he's a nice guy, but, and then went around and took a bunch of pictures and so forth, and then came up with an estimate, on it. And, came by an appraisal, I should say, and the figure came up with $540,000. Now, my personal opinion is that's pretty whack. I'm pretty disappointed. I mean, it's not, there's not a person in the world that's going to pay that much for golf course. I think it was based on other golf courses that are selling. There's a lot of other areas that are more populated, and so forth. But I'm kind of disappointed in it, really. I'll have to talk to them about that. But to me, that isn't help much for you guys.
I'd love to get that much, but I don't think.
How much did that appraisal cost us?
4,500.
Put it out for bids, we'll find out what everybody else thinks it's worth.
Anyway, so that's kind of what's on the next agenda, or next part, I guess. The first one is, that property located at Brown Terranza. I'm not gonna say the whole name. But, so I did discuss with Earl, and he just has a lot going on and would feel more comfortable hiring Amos and Cooney to, help us through this process. And I guess it would be for both the selling of the golf course and that property. Their rates are on that, I think their ranges are from 140 an hour to 270 an hour, 290 an hour, sorry. So, and we're familiar with Amos and Cooney, they do a lot of they do all our bond obligations, so, and this is kind of what they do. This is their line of work. If I can get a motion to approve hiring them for, I guess, both properties, selling of both properties, and actually, let's start with the Toronto. Can I get a motion to approve Amos and Cooney to start, help us with that process? I'll make that motion.
Second? I'll second that. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And now the golf course stuff.
I'll make a motion
motion that we hire Ayers and Cooney to help us with the selling of the golf course.
Any other discussion on that one? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Good.
Next, we have, I guess I'll let you talk about this.
I talked to Tyler a couple of times. In fact, it's gonna bring it up last month and missed it, so. Talked about it, changing from, salary back to hourly for the chief of police. Back when I was mayor before, that's what it was. And they changed it for some reason, and you guys probably know why. Remember Kurt, why?
Save money.
To save money.
Because they're the leader. He's in charge of people. And we voted to change him to a salary position and gave him a wage increase, which compensated him fairly enough, or that position fairly enough to not pay overtime. And that's why it was done.
Was that back when Mark took over? Okay,
That's
so,
while Mark was chief, yeah.
okay. Because I think we had 5 officers at that time, so he was working 8-hour days. He worked Monday to Friday, so I think maybe that's why they did that salary position. And now that we only have 4 officers, it is a rotating shift, it's not somebody in the office 8 hours a day. So
Makes sense.
that's where we kind of saw different.
Yeah, and there's a problem sometimes, you know, you just say, Tyler was sick for 2 or 3 days, couldn't come to work, had to hire somebody to fill in. Still, his full salary, and we're still hiring somebody to take his place. You know, so that's not good for the city. The other thing is, though, like when we were down to 2 officers, you know, as you know, we had a lot of overtime put in, and you know, if you were salary for a chief of police, you probably would have scheduled yourself for all kinds of overtime. Because you're not gonna get paid for it anyway, right? So you know, and I think, the other reason of it also is there are people in town that like to gossip about hours and so forth. You know, so whether you're putting hours in or not putting hours in, you know, and that would take that away. But I just think it would be good for Tyler, because then he's getting paid for what he's working. And, especially in overtime. And a whole lot easier to manage, I think. Tyler, what do you say?
If I was gonna stay salary, that's my biggest thing. Prior to when you guys moved it to salary, you guys had 5 officers, and it was a Monday through Friday, and if you look at any of the other chief of police or police chiefs in the area, and that's what it is. Monday through Friday, the weekends off, holidays off. So if I'm going to I'm gonna be on the schedule and working the schedule. I mean, back when I worked here the first time, it was the incoming chief, he has to be Monday through Friday. And the city said no, because we have a working chief. And at that time, the council said, we have a working chief, and we always will. We're not gonna put him Monday through Friday. So, And I had no problem doing it. I'd actually like, I like working, being on schedule, but if I'm gonna do that, I like to get paid for those hours.
Yeah.
They also know that they're not supposed to be working too many overtime hours. They have a good schedule where that doesn't happen as often.
Once we get full staff.
Yeah, exactly, yeah,
The overtime will come down.
a lot.
So we have the resolution to approve wage increases. Do you have a proposal for the transition the chief to hourly, what it would be, since
I think it's on there.
it is on the sheet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, 35.
No offense to, Tyler, but so if he's, salary, he's making X amount of dollars, but if we put him hourly, we automatically give him 10 cents an hour raise.
It's just similar, we like to use, I don't know, I like to use those.
Just saying. 40 hours a week is 2,080 hours a year. Do the math and we automatically give him 10 cent raise. Just so we're aware of it.
Yeah. Anybody else thoughts on there?
I guess I'm not opposed to it as long as our budget can accommodate the potential increase in expenditure.
And it did, I mean, we were speaking about it months ago, we just never got it on the agenda, so.
Because it makes sense. If we are down officers and they're working more hours, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not
Scenario.
8-hour days.
Yeah. So do we need a motion to?
Yes.
I'll make.
I'll second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carried. And then the resolution 16-2024 fiscal year 25 wage increase. Any questions or comments on that? And what's that? Somebody else did. For transparency reasons, I think he's on the list. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So police chief would go to 35.25. Police sergeant would be 33. Public works director, 35. All right, Justin Lear, I'm gonna start saying names. 23. Jay Johnson, 2150. JT Merriam, 2150. Elizabeth Ivera, 62.4. Marcy Malin, 2150. Linda Frito, 2850. Carol Couch, 19. Mary Swenson, 15. Heidi Jarks, 1250. Marcia Wethold, 1250. Jane Swenson, 1800. Mike, 5750. Part-time police officers, $25 an hour. Part-time office is $10 to $13 an hour.
Jan Swenson, 1,800 is a year. Straight. Okay. questions? Yeah.
I'll offer the resolution approving the wage increases for FY '25.
I will say.
Any other discussion? Scott?
Yes.
Weiss?
Yes.
Tillman? Yes. Nelson?
Yes.
Moore?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we have summer rec volunteer background checks. So we've been kind of doing them. I've been doing them through iowacourts.gov, and it's just something that we feel with our insurance rep that we need to continue to do. But we wanted something a little bit more, I guess, thorough. So DCI, it costs $15 a last name is what they said. To do a background check, and it's really for our volunteers, summer rec, any volunteers that the city may have. So I just want to go ahead and for you guys to approve this so that I can start asking volunteers to do this, fill out this form. We have our behinds covered.
CYA, right?
So I can get your approval for this.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
And then lastly, Bitco would like to be approved to use a drone to take pictures of the Burr commercial lot. We don't have a date set, but it would happen within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I guess we're just wanting your approval for that.
Got a lot of trucks on it out there.
Yeah, you can do green space thing, take it out.
Yeah.
Do they need funds from us for it?
No, just because we have an ordinance saying that drones can't be flown over it. So that's kind of why.
Because they check the property, don't want that. And then, if you ever saw the other video that they had, it was before Dollar Shoe Building was there, and they actually through some of the money that the city had given Bitco went ahead and got a video done of that property, and it had aired on some of the other networks that I can't think of what they are, what it's called, but it's not the major networks, but it's some of the other networks that they have on TV.
Like KAL and that stuff for the news station?
It's on some different networks that they have, different shows like the History Channels and that they pull that stuff in. It's through Jill Kramer through the economic development thing too. Anyway, they put it together. It was really kind of a nice video of it. Now that the Dollar Tree there, we haven't had an update on it. And not the Dollar Tree's there, that building is there. And we just wanted to get an update so we can help get it out visible again.
Can I get a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve allowing Bitco to use their drone to take pictures of the road commercial. Second.
Did I hear a second?
Yes, Ashley seconded.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public comment, thank you.
Okay, so Diane had brought up the permit, sorry, Woody's out by Maine, right?
The hot dog stand.
Yeah, so I think it's what called Woody's. So previously, if they weren't going door to door to sell, that's the only time we have a peddler's permit. We don't, I guess, ask them to fill out a permit. That's kind of how we've always done it. And so if they were going door to door, we had some people who saw up at City Hall a couple years back or last year. They fill out a peddler's permit if they were going to your house, the next house, and the next house to basically.
So you don't care if they're parked in handicap parking spot?
That was my question. Are you concerned they were parked in a handicap spot or that they were selling hot dogs?
That they were in the handicap parking spot.
Okay.
I'm concerned about that as well.
And
My dad
also,
was in a
just
little
selling out of the back of their truck was causing quite a bit of problem going up and down Main. I saw for the traffic while I was sitting up there for 40 minutes.
I went by it and I didn't see it. She was sitting in the rain.
And I can definitely let them know that they can't park in the handicap. I had talked to them and I told them kind of where to park because that's where Woody's had always parked. So I did not know.
Woody's would never parked in the street.
And I didn't exactly give them the specific.
Well, I mean, we should have gotten the fine. Let's make some money. Or otherwise, why did we bother putting the bigger signs up for handicap parking and all this good stuff? Anybody can park in a handicap parking spot and we don't care.
I definitely don't think that we need to be finding, if somebody doesn't know, and they were told by City Hall that they could park around that area. I mean, they're a business that want to make money and they're trying to obviously lively up Britt by bringing hot dogs. So it's definitely an error on my part. So I will definitely call them tomorrow, and inform them on what they should be doing. And
I think Spencer sat up on the sidewalk.
yeah, and I had told them that it was in that area. I never told them it's an exact.
Even around that, you know, at the end of the block around the corner would have been better.
Yeah, and I had just told them the area that they were supposed to be in. That's where Woody's always sold. I never told them on the sidewalk, on the street.
But they should know not to be in the handicap spot, no matter what you told them. That's not city law, that's state, federal
Yeah.
laws. Not, well, we told them that area,
Yeah,
that doesn't give them permission to override a federal law.
I'll definitely be calling them in the morning.
One of the guys selling the peaches, because I noticed there were a lot of people, that gets right out into the drive part of the road, because it's selling out of the back of the truck. When we have an open parking lot where Dollar General used to be on Main Street, we have an open parking lot there that can be used for those types of things. It's a whole lot safer because the next time someone, turns around or has a little kid with them and they're right there on the edge on Main Street, it's not safe
And it's
whatsoever.
usually right in front of the pharmacy too, is where he's.
It's on the other side.
Was it on the other side this time?
But
Yeah, but like right in there where it is busy.
I'll try to.
Way too busy on Main Street for people to be, trying to get peaches out the back of a truck.
Yeah, I'll try and find his phone number. I don't know if he.
I think I have a business.
You do? Okay. Yeah, we'll give him a call too.
Does he have a better permit?
No, I
You
mean, he's
you
not
know there's
going.
an ordinance about having better permit in Britt,
Yeah,
and he's supposed to, anybody that sells from out of town is supposed to come to the city hall and buy a peddler's permit.
so we, I guess, interpreted it as if they were going door to door, house to house selling. So that's,
It's anybody. Isn't it anybody? All food trucks and everything have that.
as long as they're not in private, so if they're in private property, we can't do anything about it. Clear that up.
That's definitely not private property.
No, I know, I'm just telling you, there's food trucks in town, it's not
I
always.
mean, two semis were meeting and they were jockeying and there was 4 or 5 people standing at the back of that pickup. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll definitely reach out tomorrow. And
Yeah, it's a different story when food trucks come, for like the bike night on Main Street, where it's closed off. I think that's a different night because they're invited here. Or hobo day when they're invited.
And we can definitely start requesting permits from.
Will we have to do that, like when Westview has a food truck in front of Westview, or Hominies comes
The
to
streets closed.
original stop?
Closed.
Not always, our street's not always closed when we have,
You have them on your property.
they're like right on front of the street. That's what I'm saying, like,
We had Hominies last week
it's a public purpose space.
in our parking lot.
Well, yeah, but original saw has them out front too, you know, I just, yeah, the hospital, yeah, I'm just saying, like, you're gonna open up a big can of worms here. Not to be, I understand the Main Street thing, but
But if it's an ordinance that we.
then it is, if it's an ordinance, like, I get that.
Yeah, and we don't always get notified.
That's on city property.
If we don't know they're coming to town. And we don't find out till after they leave, like, obviously we have to find contact information from these people, but.
Typically though, I mean, for Westview, they're inviting them to come there. They should then contact the city and say, hey, we have such and such food truck coming, what do we need to do? Or, you know, anybody else, they know. There's only a handful of places in town that are inviting food trucks to come for whatever reasons. It's not gonna be hard to police that, or, you know, decide what we really want to do and then enforce it.
Yeah. Well, we'll start definitely enforcing that, so.
That is gonna, yeah, the ice cream truck too.
Do they get a permit, the ice cream truck?
They did last year.
They've been here this year. I don't know.
Ice cream trucks been going around now.
Yep.
Doesn't have a permit from us,
They got one last year.
but they don't this year.
They have not.
There's some people that do that.
Anything else?
We're worried about adding ordinances and doing things for the city, but we need to enforce all the current ordinances we have before we think we need to add any others.
Anybody else have anything going?
Yes.
I'm wondering why we're, not adhering to the zoning ordinances for everybody equally. There's, a building that was built over a year ago that doesn't meet height ordinances. As far as I know, nothing's been done about it. Shed came in this week. It's not 3 feet away from the lot line. So I mean, when I had to put my building up, I tried to work with the city for 3 years and got basically told no. So I followed the rules, ended up having to pay $30,000 more to follow the rules. And it seems like, well, I'm gonna give you a permit and say I'll do X, Y, and Z, but then I can put up the building or the shed or whatever and not follow the rules. And nothing is enforced.
Well, I would say, tell me what it is and I'll look into it. We definitely want to follow rules. If there's something built, there was one built just recently, a deck. And I asked about it and it was permitted because the person was in a wheelchair and needed a little bit bigger deck in front of the house to be able to turn around. You know, so I understood that. You know, but yeah, otherwise, we definitely want to adhere to the rules. So yeah, let me know what it is.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not against the homeowners. I'm against the fact that this person has to do it, this person does, or it's not enforced. And to me, you have a zoning person that issues the permits. Should be checking when the building is complete or whatever, that it actually adheres to what the permit is for. And I don't think, I mean, it sounds like sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not.
Well, we'd have to have one of these, so. If there's something contrary to that, let me know. Anything else?
Yeah, I have something else. Some people have been sending me this. Okay, so what do we do about it?
Talking about the drain. 18, with the cement all the way around it.
So we can't do anything about it?
What would you like me to do?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I asked them when they, what are you gonna do with it? We're gonna box it out. I don't like it either. They were originally gonna cover it with concrete. That's access to my storm sewer. I can call DOT and get it on. Throw it out.
Yeah, I've had a few people ask me about that.
It'd be the north-south lane between the turning lane and the north-south lane. It was a beat out of rocks before. To drain that area.
Part of the fight.
So why do we do it?
Because they can.
Because it,
They can tell you, pay for your own stop signs.
Anything else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.